Hi, this is your girl Angel, aka Malika Hills. Um, I just have a little short word for you this morning, and God's been speaking to my spirit about a particular scripture that we are all familiar with. And the scripture talks about, as was it when Peter um, was told to launch into the deep, okay? And in that moment, I'm assuming he was just wondering, like, "So are you okay? Why would you tell me to launch into the deep when you know for sure that I have been tossing my net in this water and I did not catch anything?" But by the word of Jesus, he went ahead and he launched into the deep. And when he did, he had so much fish that he had never even caught that much fish before. My point is this morning, God is saying, why are you not launching into the deep in your life? Why are you waiting? What are you scared of? God says he has given you gifts and abilities to do things in your life, but you 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 keep having fear inside of you. You are so scared to launch into the deep. Why are you not launching? What is it that you are afraid of? God says you are an employee, right? And God says, but that's not what I called you for. But yes, everybody goes through a journey, and when they go through that journey, there's certain parts of life that they go through, and they probably will be an employee before they become an employer themselves. And not everybody is an entrepreneur. Not everybody is meant to, um, you know, go forward in certain avenues in their lives. But God is saying, why you not launching into the deep? He says, your gifts are gonna make you go before kings and priests and all these great men. But how is that gonna happen if you do not launch into the deep? What are you waiting for? He says he has given you all the signs that you need to see. He has shown you all the possibilities that you need to step out and launch into the deep. Why are you not launching? He says, you've been praying and you've been asking God, is this what I'm supposed to do? He says, you've been praying and you've been crying, God, I want to do a business. God, I want to have business partners. God, I want to enter into this relationship. God, is this from you? And God has given you all the signs, but you are so fearful. And God says, who gave you the spirit of fear? For God says, I have not given you the spirit of fear. I have given you a spirit of confidence. I have not put out a spirit of fear in anybody. And so when I say launch, you are supposed to launch. Why are you still waiting? He says, why are you still waiting? Why are you afraid to launch? He says, have you lost faith in the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Have you forgotten that he is the same God today? He says, why are you not launching? You have a gift in you, or you have hobbies that you are so good at. Little, you may think they're little, but God says that is the thing that I want to use to make you a great person. But how are you gonna be great if you keep limiting what I can do for you? Why are you not launching? You need to launch into the deep. God says, I have given you all the signs that you need to see that I have opened the doors and the gates of heaven that this thing may prevail in your life. But why are you scared? He says, You're out here crying and saying, Lord, I need a job. And he says, but I've given you all these gifts in your hands. What are you doing with the gifts that I have given you? And you know so well in your heart that you do so much better in the gifts that I have given you. But why do you still want to stay like a baby? You still want breast milk from your mother. You still want to be breastfed. Meanwhile, God is saying, it's not time for you to be breastfed. You've had enough infant milk. Now I need you to get out and launch into the deep. What is that thing that you prayed to God for? You keep saying, oh Lord, I need a sign. Lord, I need you to show me. But God says, I've shown you. And I have opened the way. And I have said, launch into the deep. What are you waiting for? What are you afraid of? He says, everyone that you, let's say for example, if you work for somebody right now and you look at them and you're like, oh, my boss is a very amazing boss, and so on and so forth. He says, do you just think that they woke up and they just became great men and women? The reason why they are where they are is because they launched into the deep. It's because they had to have a leap of faith. They had to step into the horizon and do the impossible. Yes, they may have failed 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, but they succeeded. But if you never try, you're always going to be an employee to somebody and not an employer to somebody. He says, I need you to launch. He says, I need you to start that business. I need you to start that company. I need you to start selling those clothes. I need you to start doing something. But what I don't want you to do is for you to stay stagnant, because I'm not a stagnant God. I am constantly moving and everything around me moves. And as your child, as my child, I want to see you launch into the deep, because lots of destinies are tied to you. And if you don't launch, that means those people are not moving forward, because their souls and destinies are tied to you. So why are you not launching? So today God sent me to give you this message and to tell you that you need to launch. Don't sleep on your dreams, on your goals. You have something in your hands. If you look very clearly, you will realize that you have an answer already. You keep crying and saying, Lord, I need you to bring helpers in my life. The only helper that you have are your hands. God has given you your hands and you have that gift. It's only when you start and you launch is when those helpers are going to show up in your life. But if you don't launch and go into the deep, how are those helpers going to see that you have something in you? They need to see potential. People don't invest in something that they don't see hope will come out of. But when they see potential in you, they see the drive, they see that you're pushing, then they will be interested in wanting to invest in you. I wouldn't want to invest in anything that I knew that it wasn't profiting anything. The same with any other person who would want to invest in your life and help you launch even further into the deep. So you need to launch. What's that thing you wanted to do? Is it a business? Go ahead and start. Is it a relationship that you keep postponing and you're like, no, this is definitely not from God? God gave you the answer. You have gotten all the answers you need. You don't need any more answers. He has already answered and he has said, launch, because I have already given you a go ahead to do this thing. So today, as you venture into anything that you're doing, be reminded that God has opened the floodgates of heaven already, and Everything is open up for you. It's no longer closed. And he says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Just because it fell yesterday doesn't mean it will fail today. And he's giving you surety and guarantee that you can launch and that it will flourish like never before. What dreams do you have? Push harder. Do your best. While you are doing your best, as you are launching into the deep, you will realize that you will have so much fish, you will not even know where to put that fish, because you have launched and obeyed the voice of God. So wherever you are today, in whatever position, if you feel like you have no capacity to move forward in your life, that is the lie from the pits of hell. God says launch. You have money and you don't know what to do. God has already given you a sign, and there's something that you have had this interest in. God says launch. Oh, there's this house that I wanted to buy, but the money is not enough. Just go ahead and start. Just start from wherever you are. I'm gonna give a little testimony, and I'm not really at my best, but I know God is moving. I know somebody who I talk to. Sometimes you need someone to remind you, because sometimes I feel like we forget who we really are. We forget that we have these dreams. We forget that God spoke to us and he said he was going to do ABCD for us. But I met somebody, and she was very phenomenal in how she spoke to me and how she reminded me of who I really was. And just through that word, I found myself being encouraged to launch. And I launched into the deep and, furthered the business. I do clean, And somebody may say, oh, wow, why would you just clean? Won't you choose anything? Well, honey, not everybody is meant to launch into the corporate world. Maybe my blessing is tied to just cleaning in those houses. Maybe when I'm cleaning and I speak right there when I clean and I say, Lord, as I clean this house, I pray that every person in this house who doesn't know you, may they know you. And you realize that people will see the interest. They will see the love of God that you have in you. Sometimes you don't need to do the biggest work on this earth. All you need to do is just launch. And I did that. And people just be showing up and they say, oh, I would like you to clean my home. I would like you to clean my home. And I'm glad and I'm thankful to God, because it's because of being obedient and stepping in faith and listening to words of encouragement from that one particular person that made me launch into the deep. What we fear, I don't even know, but God says launch. If I didn't launch, the possibility to have clients would not be there. If I didn't launch, nobody will call me, nobody will know that there was even a Malaika on this earth. But I had to launch. Through launching, I get to have experience, more experience. Through launching, I get to have more clients, new clients. Through launching, people get to see what I am able to do. And through launching, I am able to win souls. So it works both ways. Even though God is blessing me and opening up doors, I'm out there staying hungry for the souls, because there is joy in heaven for one soul that give their life to him. Now imagine if you use your platform as a believer to launch into the deep. The fact that you are there as an ambassador of Christ is more reason for you to even launch. Once you are in that position, you can win many souls, because they will see the dynamics and the blessings of God in your life. So today's word, today's encouragement is that you will launch into the deep, and do not be afraid. because God says the spirit of fear is not from Him. God has given us boldness, and He has not given us a spirit of fear. He has given us a sound mind, and He is saying, launch into the deep. Be encouraged. Do not be dismayed. You can do it. Launch into the deep. Launch into the deep. The path is clear. Don't be blaming your village people. It's not everything that they are doing to you. Some of these things you do them to your own self because you're not stepping out in faith. God has cleared the way. God has removed them from your path. And He says, launch. It's not your grandmother, no. It's you. You are limiting yourself from greatness. It's not your grandfather. It's not the auntie or uncle or your cousin or whoever it is. It is you. You are your own limit to success. So move. If you don't move, nothing moves. So move and launch into the deep. Launch, because God has opened the way for you. Blessings.